All right. Good morning, everybody. Happy Tuesday. Today is Tuesday, May 23rd. Hopefully, y'all are having a good morning so far. Let me send the announcements through that we've started the live stream. Markets are currently down about 0.4% for SPY after didn't get any negotiations for the debt ceiling after Biden and McCarthy both spoke yesterday. So, no updates on this debt ceiling. We have about 7 days left until June 1st. So they only have about a week in order to pass this through. And I think just going through Congress takes a week. So very, very close to the deadline. I think that markets might start to panic over the next couple of days if nothing ends up getting passed or negotiated, if we don't have any resolutions to this. I think the next couple of days could be very volatile. Right now we're trading at 417.14 for SPY, just below the 417.50 support that we've been holding above for the last couple of days. Obviously, we ended up losing the Fibonacci level at 1461. So pretty bearish start to the day, 33 on RSI. So close to being oversold. QQQ not getting any love either. Currently down to 336 from 337.64, so about 0.5% on the Qs. And we're not really seeing any love for any of the big names. If we're looking at Apple, this one's down. Microsoft is down. Nvidia is marginally down. Tesla down to 186 from 188. Let's see, Meta down to 246 from 248. So basically all of the big names, even Google, 125 versus 125.87 at close yesterday. All the big names are down today. So likely we're going to get a bit of a sell-off as long as one of these names doesn't end up recovering. And today ought to be a red day, I'm thinking. Finally. It would be first time in a while for, let's see, for QQQ. Most of the days that we've been seeing have been green, but yeah, I might have a decent 0.5% red day, maybe more, depending on how bad these big caps get hit. And yeah, we got about 2 more minutes till market open. Let's see if we have any updates for the debt ceiling, or for the what is it? FOMC countdown. Not really much change. Yesterday it was 25.7 for 25 basis points. Now it's 24.6. Small decrease. But what we're really seeing is rates going up like crazy and the dollar going up like crazy. If we're looking at the Dixie, this is almost at 104 right now. DXY. 103.48. And if we're looking at the 10-year, this is currently at 3.74. Almost at 3.8, which is, again, the highest that we've seen this since the Silicon Valley collapse back in early March. So pretty troubling place to be for yields for the dollar. That will weigh negatively on especially QQQ. Good morning, Martin. Good morning, Lamont. All right, SPY's coming up a little bit on the 417 level. I'm going to be looking for puts here on open. Same day expiration probably. They're going for 103. I don't want to add it to my watch list. I just want to pull up the chart for it. Yeah, they're going for 108. So up from 53 cents. They've doubled in price overnight. Nvidia's down to 310. Intuit's actually holding up. Interesting. And then Ulta, the third stock on my watch list for earnings, is actually down 0.2%. So pretty red start to the day. Again, Q's down about half. SPY down about 0.4. And we're just below that 417.50 level for SPY that we've been hanging below the last couple of days. So my guess we're probably going to stay below there unless we get any updates for the debt ceiling that are positive. Let me make that trend line, or price level, I should say, not a trend line. QQQ, right at 336. Should make a watch list with all the different big tech names, see how those are performing against one another. All right. Big tech, Apple, Microsoft, Google, Amazon, Tesla, Nvidia. Let's see, what am I missing here? Meta. All right, so actually half of them are in the green, but just barely 0.2% for Microsoft, and negative 0.02 for Meta. Almost everything going red now, so probably gonna see some pullback off of this morning jump. Right now we're at 336.44. And the only two that are in the green so far this morning are Nvidia and Microsoft. Nvidia keeps catching that support at about 310.50. So that might be where we could hold above before the earnings report, which is tomorrow after hours. All right, we're back to 50 for RSI. So right at neutral. Top 10 in SPY serves well, yeah. Whatever the top 10 are doing, that's usually what the rest of the market is following along with. They're the leaders and everything else just follows. All right. Right now we're trading at 336.50, 46 RSI. Looking into QQQ. And then Microsoft is the only positive one right now. So looking pretty bearish for the individual names at least. Thinking about going with the 336 or 337 strike. Right now, these are going for 127 for the 337 and 77 cents for the 336. Let me see the relative prices for today's options. IWM is actually leading the market today. Only down 0.05% versus Q's down 0.3 or 0.4, and then SPY down 0.3, 0.4. All right, so checking out this 337 put, the lowest that these went this morning was 181. Now they're at 184. So you're getting them at a pretty good price. Wait, do I have the right expiration date? Yeah, no, that's for tomorrow's expiration actually. Today's expiration is 121, which is the lowest that these have been so far this morning. Yesterday they were going for 83 cents before the close. Oh, crap. Thinkorswim just kicked me out. Okay. Well, let's see. Let me log back in right quick. All right. I think it just got rid of my big tech. Oh no, still have that watch list. Good. All right, so everything in the red besides Nvidia and Microsoft this morning. Meta's almost a break even, but not quite there. All right, going back to that 337 put, they're going for 129. $135. And we ended up pulling back right from 50 on the RSI, so looking like a good opportunity. Probably gonna set my stop loss at about 120. So probably open 5 of them. I'd like to get them a little bit cheaper. Now they're at 140. They were down to 130. If I can. But yeah, none of the big names really doing well today. Google is actually down 1%. Tesla's down about 1% too, but it's trading pretty close to that 188 level. I wonder if we could do a 188 call credit spread for Tesla and make some money there. SPY's at 417. Oh, 337 put. 337. All right. Looks like Tesla recovering might be pushing QQQ up here. All right, they just dropped these puts to 123. So probably not going to open them just because the stop loss would be very close. And now we're seeing the big names going green. Meta is up 0.3. Nvidia up 0.2. Amazon barely up, but up 0.1. Meta might be the leader today. Currently up by 0.5%. Not really much, but good first 15-minute rally. IWM is actually pulling back here. It was flat, but now it's down 0.2%. Dow is down 0.4. QQQ only down 0.3 now. So typical kind of trading action. You're getting a recovery for QQQ and the rest of the indices are slipping. Word of the day is cash. Cash money. Any big news expected to come out today? Supposedly they're going to give more updates on the debt ceiling at about 11 o'clock. We just had some news. McCarthy asked Republican lawmakers to hang in with me on the debt limit. Earlier, one of the negotiators from the Republican Party said that there wasn't any deal that was made yesterday. Let's see. And they said we're nowhere close to a deal yet. So, more and more bad news about the debt limit. Holding the markets down so far this morning. But we are seeing a couple names doing okay, with Meta up 0.5%, Tesla regaining some of what it lost overnight. So that could prop the Qs for right now. Those puts were going for 115 at the low. Now they're going for 130. So far, we just got pretty flat trading action for SPY. We got that resistance at 417.50 that we're hanging just below. That might be the better trade versus a QQQ put, actually. Just because the Dow is probably going to hold that back more so than what Qs will give you. And there's a more obvious resistance at 417.50 too. QQQ, your resistance is at 337, so it's still about 60 cents away from that, versus SPY is a lot closer, only about 10 cents away. So let me pull up the 418 puts for SPY on the left, and then we'll have the Q puts on the right. Looks like we just went above 417.50 there. We'll see if we actually hold above it or not. These are going for 130 right now. RSI is right at 49. So almost 50, so it could go either way here. Tesla just went above 190. So Tesla and Meta seem to be your two gainers today so far. Especially with Tesla above 190, that might end up triggering a lot of buyers. And McCarthy just said that a deal is not close yet. Right now, a 190 call for Tesla expiring this week is going for 440. Delta for it is 53, so if it goes up to like 190, 150, you'd make about $50 after spending 400. Decent return if it does continue to rally like hell today. Yep, and we're already at 191, so everybody's piling in after they saw it go above 190 there. So I think what I'll probably do is I'll probably do both. Buy a call for Tesla, put for Qs, that'll kind of hedge each other too. To some extent, at least. The Q puts are a lot cheaper than the Tesla calls are right now. Powell's talking again right now or later on today. Let's see. I don't think Powell's going to speak anytime today. Doesn't look like it here. We do have services PMI that just came out, and the global composite PMI just came out. Looking at the data here, we came in at 54.5 for the global composite PMI, so that's actually pretty good, versus 50 expected, up from 53.4 at the last reading, and then 55.1 for services PMI, up from 53.6 last month and 52.6 expected. That's not good in terms of inflation. That would actually push inflation higher. So services PMI would be a bearish reading, and then the global composite PMI, that would actually be somewhat good to see that going higher. And then the manufacturing PMI actually dropped 48.5 versus 50.2 expected, or 50.2 last time, and then 50 expected. So the data reading doesn't look exactly promising. 2 out of the 3 reports were pretty bad. Market's not really reacting much to that report, though. Usually you get a lot bigger of a move. But let's see. SPY's closer to 418 now. These puts are going for 109. That 418.21 level is going to be your next resistance. It does look like it wants to head higher right now at 55 RSI, though. Slightly more bullish. Tesla's the winner. Chicken dinner today, up 1.3% so far at 191.22. I would probably want it to pull back to like 190.5 or so before I buy a call on it. These 337 puts for Qs are looking okay. With a stop loss at like 105, they're at 115 right now. It's right at 51 RSI though, so not really decided on a direction yet. Tesla is definitely decided on a direction, and Amazon is up 0.5% too. So these are probably going to be your couple of runners today. Amazon, Tesla. Amazon just passed up that 114.76 support. Headed higher now. What did I think of the AI photo of the Pentagon yesterday? It's wild that people would do that, but I think that artificial intelligence is, I don't know, it's just a very tricky thing to regulate. Like, I don't know how you would stop that kind of thing from happening unless, well, I mean, a couple of the AIs have like things that you can't put into it, like, what is it, the DALL-E from OpenAI. You can't put anything political into it, so that would have stopped it if that was put across the entire AI spectrum. But yeah, that definitely spooked the markets for a second yesterday. We ended up dropping pretty quick, and it's crazy that it had that much impact even though it was fake. But that's not really the first time that we've had sort of a fake out of an attack on Washington. We had one, I think last year there were some helicopters that were flying over. It was part of like a drill, but they didn't know. I think that kind of spooked the markets last year too. But then since it ended up being fake news, basically, it ended up recovering. All right, Amazon pulling back here. Tesla still reaching 192. I think if Tesla pulls back, maybe back down to 188 or below 190, that would be a better entry for the QQQ put. They're going for really cheap right now, which is nice, but not really much to support it if Tesla and Amazon are both up a pretty good amount. I'm looking at some 115 calls on Amazon that are going for 170 currently. Got another update on the debt ceiling. Don't think that things are going well over to the debt ceiling talk, says Republican negotiator Graves. So, still no. I mean, it's been like 2 hours since they probably started working, if that. So, of course, they're not really going to come to a deal. But they are just posting headline after headline on this. The VIX is pretty high, almost at 18. Usually whenever the VIX gets around 18, it ends up getting rejected. Kind of thinking about getting some SVIXy or short VIX. But I think if we don't have a deal for the debt ceiling the next couple of days, then the VIX is probably going to finally make its move above 18. Yeah, Q's is just kind of rallying a little bit, but not too much. It's still below 337 and ended up getting rejected at 337 just now. But since Tesla is up 1% and Amazon is up 0.3%, that's just kind of holding it up there closer to that 337 mark. Let's see, the puts are going for $1.01. The lowest that they got was 91 or 90 cents. Tesla's actually pulling back to 190 right now, so this would be a good entry. All right, for the 337 put, Amazon's still kind of holding it up a bit. Stop loss will be, I think, 90 cents. They're going for $1. Looks like I might have to overpay on them a wee bit. I'm looking to get them at $1 if I can, but if I can't, then I'll pay like $1.03. Oh, there we go. They're going for $1 now. A little bit less. Oh, two-factor authentication is going to kill me. Yeah, I didn't get those. Didn't get them for $1 each. I'm going to try for 105 now. Lower the amount that I'm going to buy. All right. Bought 5 at 105. So nice little rejection off of 337. Tesla's pulling back to 190. Amazon still up 0.5%, so that might kind of help out QQQ here a little bit. But Tesla was a leader today, and if that's given up, it's going to pull back for QQQ. All right, these are going for 109. Again, my stop loss is 90, and they're going for 110 right now. $115. Okay, so now they're gaining some value. Probably want to sell them at like 125, 130 or so. I'm thinking they're going for 120 right now, so that might be a good exit too. Q's just fell right below 336.52. Not really letting Q's move too much to the downside here. And dropped about 20 cents before getting bought back up. Pretty typical in this market. Looks like we bounced at 50 here for the RSI, so it's looking more bullish. And then it's got that resistance at 337 that's having a hard time passing up to. So might just trade back and forth here per usual. Very tight range between 336.50 or so and 337 for Qs at the moment. Tesla just went back above 191 though, so that looks a tad more bullish unless that pulls back. Amazon's up 0.7, 0.8% now. So yeah, those calls for Amazon ought to be doing pretty well. It was up like 0.5% when we were looking at them. Google's down pretty heavy, 1.1%. Apple's down 0.7%, so those two are kind of dragging the Qs at the moment, but a little bit of lift you're getting from Tesla and Amazon on the other side of that. Good morning, Peter. Yeah, it looks like QQQ is just flipping back and forth between 336.50 and 337. So once we get a pass of 336.50 or below, that would end up in a decent sell-off, but not getting it yet. Not quite, at least. These contracts were going for 115, 120 at the best. Looks like SPY might be losing some ground too. Right at that 417.50. All right, SPY just lost 417.50. Q's just lost 336.52. All right, and we broke the lows. These are going for 125, 130 almost. I'll call it there at 130. Sold at 130. So I bought them for 105, sold them for 130, 25 each. 5 of them, 125 profit. And of course that ended up getting bought up right away. Very, very typical. QQQ. On the other hand, SPY is below 417.50. So that is a significant level that I just ended up crossing. Probably might see a pop back above. But usually whenever you get these kind of crosses, it ends up following through. Kind of like we saw here. And then it went to the next price level at 418.21. So maybe we could see 416. I'm pretty doubtful on that. That would be another $1.50 for SPY, which would be about 1/3%. So SPY would have to be about down 0.6%, which could happen. But let's see. McCarthy just arrived back in the Capitol, reiterated that he is not close to a deal with the White House on lifting the debt limit. More and more headlines on the debt limit, but not really getting much reaction out of it. Iron Condor for SPY, that could end up working. Maybe like a put credit spread. I would want to close that by the end of the day though. Because if we don't have any negotiations for the debt ceiling or anything positive for it by the end of the day, I would think that the markets would want to sell off just because of how close we're getting to it. I mean, today's the 23rd. Let's check the calendar. June 1st would be a week and 2 days away. And it takes about a week in order for bills to end up moving through Congress. So if they're pushing this back to Thursday or so, that's when you're going to get a little bit of chaos in the market, I would think. Yeah, an iron condor between like 416 and maybe 419 could do us pretty well. I think your line in the sand today is probably going to be that 417.50 level. Very similar to yesterday's trading. The line in the sand was 419.40, kind of stuck around there and above 418.61 for most of the day. And then Friday, the line in the sand was 418.21 that had stuck around for most of the day. So 417.50 is likely your price to look for today. For a majority of the day, I would think. Call credit spread just by itself is paying pretty good right now. Adding in the put, you're getting an extra. You're only getting about. Oh wait, I chose the wrong strike prices. No wonder. All right. So for an iron condor expiring today, saying it's buy between 416 and 420, or sorry, 416 and 419. You're getting paid 33 cents credit, which is pretty decent. I might be worried more so on the 416 strike price closer to the end of the day, though. So I'd probably close this before like 2 p.m. or so. Right now they're going for 34 cents at the bid price, 37 for the ask. Really don't like the bid-ask spread on it being so wide. 4 cents wouldn't take much in order to move the ask all the way to 40. And volume is kind of picking up around this 417.50 level too. So you would think that that would gain a little bit of momentum if it does end up crossing. Maybe there's not that much volume going into this after all. Yeah, so if you're seeing volume descending throughout the day and you don't see any pop in volume, we're just going to stick around 417.50. But if you actually get a rise in volume here, you would probably sell off. Damn, they're already decreasing the price on these iron condors. A little bit, not very much. IWM is still in the green right now, up by 0.7%. So a lot of risk taking in this market, given that we don't have a deal in the debt ceiling. That would be pretty risky bet to take on, to assume that small caps would do well. But it finally ended up breaking 179, the level that it's been below for the longest time. Since the past month, we haven't been above 179, so probably just getting a bit of a short squeeze. All the people that shorted under 179 are having to cut their losses. It's up by 0.8% today, too. So yeah, that was a pretty significant trigger to see it above 179 today. What's my take on NVIDIA? Thinking about doing a long straddle. So I learned a new strategy the other day that I think could work really well. It's called a double diagonal. It's kind of like an iron condor, but you're choosing separate expiration dates. So if we go to NVIDIA, I think that it's not going to move much, personally. I think that it's going to trade pretty flat. Too many people are watching it. So my guess probably won't move much at all. The expected move for NVIDIA is, I think, like 5 or 6% in either direction. 2/3 of the time it'll stay within its expected move, which is $22. So probably the stock is going to stay between $330. Oh, what the heck? How did I get logged out? All right. So probably the stock is going to stay between $330 and $290 by the end of this week. So we choose this week's expiration date. We want to sell those, actually, not buy them. 290, 330, and then you want to go to next week's expiration and buy one above for the call, buy one below for the put. And this is how it sets up. So your max profit would be $883 if it's $330 by the end of this week. If it's right where it's at right now, you would be up by $400. If it's at $290, you'd make $736. Your break evens would be $273.90, so it would have to fall 12%. $353, it'd have to go up 13.5%, and your max loss on the trade is around $400, $425. So you're risking about 1-to-1, and if this does end up moving closer to that expected move range at 330 or 310, then you're making like 700 for risking 400. And this is by the 526 expiration. So I think this would actually be a decent trade to take on. Not expecting a $20 move in either direction. Again, this is called a double diagonal. It's very similar to an iron condor. You're just setting a different expiration date for the longs. You're setting a longer expiration date for the options that you're buying. And you would want to close all of these at the same time, ideally, to get this projected profits. You can hold the options till you can hold the options that you buy until the next week's expiration if you do expect a big move afterward. But you usually want to close these at the same time. All right, these are going for 180 at the center. If we put up 190, we're risking 440 for about 388 profit, or 900 or 700. All right, so I'm going to try to open them at 185. Let me take a screenshot so it's easy to follow along with. And I actually got them at 180 for $250 collateral. That's not the right screenshot. There we go. New options alert. Just opened a double diagonal for NVIDIA at 180. So I'll type in the instructions here. Sell 330 call, sell 290 call, put, sell 330 call, expiring this week, 5/26. 290 put, expiring 5/26. 332.50 call, and then 287.50. And those expirations are for 6/2 by 332.5 call, expiring 6/2. So essentially it's an iron condor setup, just a little bit different. The payout, I think, is probably better. I mean, if you look at a similar call, if you look at a similar iron condor, let's see what you would get paid. Similar iron condor is paying 91 cents and you're risking 150. Or, sorry, you're risking 140 to make 90. And if you want to look up the payout for it, you can go to Option Strat. I don't have a login, but let's see. Diagonal, looking for double diagonal. I'm not sure if it's here. There we go. Other strategies. NVIDIA. Okay. Well, we have the wrong expiration set. There we go. 282.50. Adjust this. So here's your payout scale by the 26th. Tomorrow is when they're supposed to report. So on Thursday, this is when you'd be looking at these options. So if it's between 282 and 342, you're still at a profit here. But yeah, ideally you want this between 340 and looks like 280 in order to make a profit here. So a very wide range that you're getting for profitability, which is good. Looks like I accidentally tried to buy a call or something. All right. Let's see what the SOX are doing. SOXS. 1630, just kind of bouncing around between like 16 yesterday and like 1650 is the high recently. I got 100 shares of this. Not letting them go just yet. Tesla's back to 192, hitting a new daily high here. So Tesla doesn't want to stop. It's up almost 2% now. QQQ is kind of lagging behind given that Tesla is up 2% though. Interesting enough. It's right at 336.50. Kind of where it's been chilling all morning. Yeah, that Iron Condor for SPY is looking pretty good. I almost want to say that it's going to stay closer to 418 than 416. So maybe we could do a 417, 416 put credit spread and then a 419, 420 call credit spread. That might be your range for today, similar to what we saw yesterday with SPY just going back and forth between 418.61 and 419.40. So that might be your daily range between 417.50 and 418.21. So it would be down from yesterday's close, but not by much. Right now it's paying 40 cents too. So it's a good credit that you're getting out of that. If you go one strike price lower for the puts, that drops your credit to 31. IWM is up above 180 now. So yeah, right above 179, it just ended up squeezing. You're seeing a decent short squeeze out of a lot of the small caps, actually. Anecdotally, Fulgent, one of the stocks that I'm in, trading at 41. This one's up like 30% in the past month. Just a ton of action going into the upside. Currently trading at 41 from 28 before earnings. So it's just been a rise up. Last couple of days have been like 4 or 5%. Today's up 2% again. I wonder what the other short squeeze names are doing. AMC, not really moving much. And GME, this one's actually doing okay. 18 to 23 for the past month. Uglier than my profile pic. Been doing double diagonals for earnings. They've worked pretty well. I like to see visually on option strat. Yeah, it's very useful to have option strat. And I mean, the chances of Nvidia between 275 and like 350 after earnings is pretty high. I can't imagine that it would move, what would that be, like 12% in either direction? You don't really get that much movement these days on earnings. QQQ and SPY are diverging a little bit right now. So that's actually a good thing, I would think. If you're seeing SPY going one way, QQQ going the other, that means that the big tech stocks that have been rallying year to date nonstop finally giving up some of their gains, and you're seeing some of that money transferring over into like the Dow, which is only down 0.05%, and then into small caps up 1% today. So that's actually what you would want to see in a healthy bull market. just so close to that 417.50 level. I'm really thinking about these iron condors. They're going for 40 cents. Not sure what I would set my stop loss at, like 50 maybe. But my worry right now is that we go below that 417.50 mark and get a little bit of volume coming in. Actually, I didn't account for the drop in implied volatility for NVIDIA. Let's say that it drops. Right now it's at 75. Let's say it drops 10%. That would actually narrow your range of profitability. The lower that implied volatility goes. Let's say that it comes down 10%. Then you'd be profitable above 278 and below 342. Alright, I got that support at 417.50 again. For SPY. So yeah, it looks like it just wants to go back and forth. Not even reaching 418.21 actually. It's at 418 is where it keeps getting rejected at. I'm really surprised QQQ is pulling back with Tesla up 1.8%. But usually you see like a couple of these names up like 2 or 3% per day, which ends up in QQQ miraculously going up every single day. All right. They're narrowing the bid-ask spread a little bit here for that iron condor that I'm looking at. QQQ looks to be headed lower. Yeah, looks like we got a drop on Qs, which is leading SPY down a little bit. Back down to 417.50 again. And it just ended up crossing. QQQ getting even worse here. Yeah. So you had a decent cross of that 417.50, and that's going to jack up the puts here. The 418 put just went $1 to 115. Usually these little dips, though, get bought right back up like you saw this one. If I do open the 418 puts, probably set a stop loss at 90 or 95. Yeah. Typical. As soon as it drops down, it gets bought right back up. Any sort of significant sell-off doesn't really last in this market, it doesn't seem. It is below 50 RSI, so that's looking good, but I wouldn't be surprised if we end up bouncing at like 40. Like we got rejected at 60 RSI and it's just trading flat over and over again. It looks like Dow and IWM are actually getting worse slightly. So that's putting a little bit more selling pressure here on SPY, especially with Qs down to 336.20. Yeah, I think I'm going to skip out on that put. We're too close to 417 though to do that. 417, 416, or 417, 419 put credit spread. Or sorry, 417, 419 iron condor, I should say. Too close for my comfort there. Looks like Nvidia might be finally dropping. 309 now. it doesn't look like I have any more trades that I can make now that SPY's below 417.50, and I didn't get that put. Does look a little bit more bearish at 40 RSI, but if we do end up just trading flat like yesterday, you would be between 40 and 60 and just trading around that 417.50 level. But we're too close to 417 to make that iron condor. Am I having trouble trying to fill on Thinkorswim? I'm not using Thinkorswim for my fills, so can't comment on that. Usually Thinkorswim is pretty quick to fill though, so you shouldn't have much trouble with it. All right. Yeah, I'm just not seeing any good opportunities at the moment. Maybe we'll have some later on, but no clear direction. Just trading between 40 and 60 RSI. Too close to 417 to make a iron condor, so I guess I'll just skip out. And I will catch y'all tomorrow at 9:30. See you, everybody.